It feels so good to just get that out in the world and speak it, because we have really taken time to figure out exactly what that was going to look like. So we are happy to share that with you all. Hi, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Julie. We're lifelong friends and entrepreneurs who have spent the past 15 years building successful businesses. Yep, we've done the scary stuff in business and in life.
We created this podcast to empower and inspire women to be bold and courageous in their personal and professional journeys. Each week, we explore stories, insights, and practical tips to help you harness your knowledge and experiences to create and grow your business or improve your life. If you're ready to take action, or even if you're just dreaming about building the life you deserve, you've come to the right place.
Get ready to step out of your comfort zone as we celebrate bravery, share inspiring interviews, and offer the guidance you need to blossom into your fullest potential. Okay, friends, let's be brave together. This is the Brave Looks Good on You podcast.
So I say, hey, it's Melissa. You say, and I'm Julie.
Okay.
And
Okay.
hey there, it's Melissa.
And I'm Julie. And man, it feels so good to be back on the podcast after taking some time off this summer.
It does. Can you believe we are saying that, though? I mean, really, we missed it.
We did. I was really looking forward to the break. I mean, obviously, that's why we decided to take a break for some of the exciting things that we had going on this summer. But after 2 weeks, I think you texted me and you were like, I missed the podcast.
I do. It feeds my soul. I don't know what it is. Well, Julie, okay, first of all, you pulled off a wedding.
Yeah.
You
I was the
kiddo.
mom of the groom, so I wasn't fully in charge, but
Yeah.
yes,
It was beautiful.
it was.
It was
I know
so beautiful.
I know that I'm, a little bit biased, but it was the best wedding I've ever been to in my whole life.
Yeah. Well, as it should be, right? But, how they meshed the scene of Colorado and just the natural beauty and didn't make the wedding it's almost like they were able to blend
Yeah.
the wedding to the scenery. I don't know.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
They did.
Just
They
saying.
did. I'll post a picture in stories
Do it.
today, okay? As you know, we live in Texas, so we had a destination wedding in Colorado,
Yeah,
and the weather was perfect. The scenery was beautiful,
it was.
and all the planning that we did came together, and everyone had a great time.
Yeah, and you did great on the rehearsal dinner, and I'm taking all the notes because
Yeah.
my kiddo's getting married in December, so we'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, what have you been doing over our summer break?
Well, I hate to say it, you were doing weddings and hard things, and I took some vacations. Well, it's our last summer, with our youngest one at home, and I think having 3 kids, I always have the grandma perspective with him. It's like, I know it's never the same once they leave to go off
Yeah.
to college or whatever's next,
Hmm.
and so I'm just really soaking it in, and he invited us because he was invited to go on a cruise, which is not typically our thing to do, and we went, and we loved it, and we had a good time. So we did that with him, and then I was able to tag along on a business trip with my husband and meet our Atlanta-based kiddo, Hayes, and so that was nice to get to see him and spend some time. So it's been a good break, but I'm glad to be back at it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, today we're diving into something that we have really been wanting to share with you all. So, as you know, we decided to take a little recording hiatus because we realized we needed to take some time to reflect and plan so that we could jump forward into all the things that are coming with Brave. And
Mhm.
we knew that we needed that margin in our lives. So we just did it. And like we said, we're so glad to be back. But we want to share some of the things that we learned about that experience of pausing and reflecting and just kind of hitting that reset button.
Yes, and we really want today to be about us being pretty vulnerable here and talk about how, we always I wouldn't say always, but for a long time, we've known we wanted to do a podcast. We were
Yeah.
sure
Oh,
clarity
we've
on that.
talked
We knew
about it
it.
for years, Melissa.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
years.
And I think we were just always so unclear about the business side of what we were doing. I think that just always for us has been the struggle of what we weren't quite sure about. We knew that we wanted it to be something that was going to make a difference. But I think too, it was very tough for you and I to rein in our 20 plus combined years of business building experience to really figure out what we could do to be the most beneficial.
Oh, yeah. And our work that we did together at our jobs, as well as in course creation and training women to run their own businesses, we really needed to
Yeah.
decide where the true passion and expertise would be most helpful for other women.
Yeah.
and we had to be honest with ourselves and make detailed decisions that would ultimately fuel our growth. And so we created something just for you. It's a quiz to find out if maybe you're a little stuck in your business or maybe you're just on autopilot and you're not really sure what's the next thing, what should you be
Mhm.
focused on and working on. So make sure to grab that link to that free download in the show notes.
Yes, definitely, and I think what you said right there is key, is just although, yes, we took a summer break, we also spent time to work on those things. So it's like, yeah, we were breaking from, like, the regular grind, but we were focusing on what's next.
Yeah.
So it's been so good to have a clear path and a goal. Like, we've needed that. We really have. And we've always had the goal to empower women to start or continue on their business journey and also just walk alongside any huge personal journey people are on. But what we realized in this break from doing the same old, and over the past year of also creating this huge online course for a client, we finally figured out that is where our talent, expertise, and our passions lie.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've always known that. I loved helping to teach people,
Yes.
especially if I get to be techie about it. That's like my favorite
Yeah.
thing.
So
And
true,
I love
Julie.
learning how to create those courses and then getting
Yeah.
it into some kind of platform to share with the world. And actually it's already launched. So we're super excited and we're
Yep.
currently building a few courses of our own and we're also
Yeah.
walking alongside our next client. So through all that reflecting, we've just decided this is it. And our podcast is back. Of course, Brave Looks Good on You is the same.
Yep.
And we've just kind of created an extension called Be Brave and Blossom. And that is where we're just focusing on online course creation and consultation. So, more about this coming soon.
So exciting. And we that was fun picking the name. We can't wait to talk more about that. We're gonna do a whole show about that.
Mhm.
But man, it feels so good to just get that out in the world and like speak it because we have really taken time to figure out exactly what that was gonna look like. So we are happy, happy, happy to share that with you all. So since we have walked through this, because we have walked through this, have we not, Julie? And it's just such a reality of that little bit of overwhelm mixed with, like, trying to really niche down your audience and, dare I say, the dreaded imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
We just thought today it would be so good if we shared with you and got a little vulnerable about the 5 things that you sometimes need to do in your business or even your personal life for perspective and growth. And they're going to include vulnerability, taking a step back when you need to, like we did, breaking the autopilot cycle. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Redefining your focus, and then also using that setback or step back as a springboard to move forward.
Okay. I'm so ready to jump into this because I think it will be a good reflection for us to look back over the past few months. So, let's get going. The
Okay.
first thing I want to talk about is the power of vulnerability. There's a real strength in admitting when you don't have all the answers. Like,
Isn't that
remember
the
way back
truth?
when we started the podcast? We knew we wanted it to be about encouraging women to start the business or to move forward in their businesses, but we weren't really sure exactly, how do you make a business out of that as a podcast, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we just started talking. We just turned the microphone
Yeah.
on and started talking.
Exactly. We just went for it. Yeah. And then at the same time, we also knew we wanted to do online courses, and we did one. We made one. We made one real fast,
Mhm.
and we just never really got it done to launch to the world. This is so true. We will complete it, but we just decided we wanted to start with something else. So that kind of started our spinning our wheels a bit
Mhm.
on that part. But ultimately, we knew we wanted to do something that was truly going to help and motivate women in business.
Yeah, obviously, we've learned that it's okay not to be sure, but
Mhm.
not forever, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, at some point, pull the trigger,
exactly.
go
We
for it.
have to decide on something. It doesn't even have to be the thing you're gonna stick with forever. Because so many
Mhm.
times we pivot and we change after we've gotten into something, and that is totally fine, but you have to choose something to start with, or you'll never get
Yep.
started, right?
Yeah, or you've never done anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true. Okay, so let's go to the second thing. And this is the necessity sometimes of taking a step back. And I think this is what people are scared to do because obviously, if you're making money, like that's scary. And sometimes you can't completely step back. You got
Mhm.
to keep rolling, but just step back mentally to where you can really, from that day to day monotony and operations, to gain perspective. And this is what we for sure needed to do to give us some clarity. because we just needed to really take a look at our goals, strategies, and just get some things done personally, like we talked about, but also prevent some burnout.
Yeah.
That's true. We needed to. Like, we were busy with all the things that we were doing that we kind of, I'm just gonna admit it, we lost that ultimate focus to build that course and get that done
Mm,
that's gonna help women, which is what we wanted to do.
yeah.
And I think important too is that when you're doing that, you're making sure that your business aligns with that evolving vision.
Mm. Yeah, that's good, and another thing I like to call that is giving ourselves some margin in the white space that we crave, and if we don't
Yes.
schedule that, then we never spend time dreaming and thinking about those things.
Yep.
So, it was a perfect opportunity where I wanted to be away for several weeks for the wedding and just vacation and relaxation and everything, and same for you. So, it was a really good time for us to just put that margin into our business.
Okay, so Julie, why don't we go to the 3rd one?
Okay. Yeah, it's all about breaking the autopilot cycle. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, how easy is this to just get on autopilot and you just get
Yeah.
stuck and you're knee deep in the daily grind? I
Ugh,
mean, I,
yeah.
I think we're all raising our hands, right? So
Yeah.
it's crucial to shake things up and not get stuck doing the same old, same old. And again, this
Mhm.
is where we are. We had gotten really good at rinse and repeat, which hey, nothing against a system. I love a system that is set up
Right.
and it's working well, so why reinvent the wheel? But I do think that if we take our eyes off of that rinse and repeat, it can get kinda dull over time, and our takeaway, I think, from this is that we just need to set goals, set a timeline, revisit the timeline and the goals often,
Yep.
and set a GSD list. Shall we share the GSD list?
Yeah, I
Y'all,
think we should.
yeah. So, GSD is get stuff done, and we have a list of things that are our top
Yep.
priorities, and it doesn't really matter what it takes to get to those priorities. We just need to do the things on the list to get to
Yeah,
that goal.
because it really, really is easy to get comfortable being comfortable, which is the opposite of what you should want if you're trying to be innovative. It is the opposite of growth for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the fourth step is redefining your business focus. So, Melissa, let's
Yes.
talk about how we kinda did that back in the spring.
Okay. So Julie and I met in person. As you know, we're in two different states and we Zoom a lot, but we did this one in person. And we actually sat down with a business strategist coach. And man, how nice was it to have a third party
Mhm.
there to pump us up and remind us that, like, we were kind of playing small. I mean, we really were underscoring perhaps our experience in building businesses and training women. And she reminded us of all that. And especially Julie. Julie's definitely the humble, more you're more the humble one of the two of us. But just she reminded us and sort of empowered us again about what we do know and how we do have the knowledge and experience to help other people and how that is our passion. So we were able to do some pretty cool brainstorming and we're able to really sort of redefine what we could potentially offer.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think one of the things we came away with is not really the direction that we're going, but just having that conversation with a
Yeah.
professional and someone who is not as emotionally involved in what you and I are doing every day really, really helped us see from an outsider's perspective where we could focus and
Yeah.
renew our
Yeah.
energy and stuff like that. So that also kind of helped define what we've been putting off and why.
Mm.
Like, why
Yeah.
have we been dragging our feet on this course
Yep.
creation? Like, what is the holdup here?
Yeah, and I would like to ask all of you to think about that. Don't do it if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you're home listening, close your eyes and ask yourself, really, what are you putting off? Why are you putting it off? Because that's something we had to do. What was holding us back? What was it? What was really happening to keep us from doing the thing we knew we wanted to do? So, what came from that was actually a redefinition of our ideal listener, our customer. Like, who is it that we're talking to? Who do we want to see our things? Who do we want to come alongside and help? And we even have a new podcast intro. If you didn't skip over it, you heard us.
So, yeah, we just want to encourage all entrepreneurs to do this sort of exercise periodically. And, the market changes. And so your strategies might need
Yeah,
to change as well.
so true. All right, so tell us about the 5th thing, Julie. What's the 5th thing that we might wanna consider if somebody's sitting where we were?
Yeah, I think just using some of your setbacks as springboards is a great way to turn what you might think is a negative thing into a positive.
Mhm.
Setbacks is sometimes a strong word. I would say we felt a little paralyzed maybe. We didn't really have
Yeah.
anything that was just wrong. It's just we were stuck,
No.
right?
Yep. Yeah, and we couldn't decide what courses were really gonna make a difference, the people who were loving what we were doing.
Yeah.
Did we get a little imposter syndrome going on and get a little too comfortable in what we were doing and it got in the way a little?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's true. And so I think what is important to remember here, whether this is your business or both of us have tackled personal things too. So if it's something you're trying to do personally and you feel like you've had a setback, it's not a stop. Consider it a detour because we have had our fair share since we started this little thing almost 2 years ago. Yeah, and just looking back, honestly, and I know this sounds very Pollyanna, I don't know what the word is, but, like, many times, those are our biggest growth moments when you can
Mhm.
really look at those and learn from them. Learn about yourself, learn about your business.
Yeah, for sure. Facing those challenges head on can lead to substantial personal and professional development.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. So hopefully those 5 things were good and gave you some ideas. Make sure and grab that free quiz and take it to see what you might need to do to keep moving forward. I think in business or life, and it's linked in our show notes. We encourage all of you just to reflect on your own past and consider where you might need a pause, you might need a realignment that could propel you forward. Where are you stuck? Where do you need a little help? If you could snap your fingers just like that, what would be different in your business or in your life? If you use the 5 considerations we talked about today, whether it be business or personal for perspective and growth, you can really dig deep and answer those questions. And remember, the pause, though, for sure, needs to be strategic. We didn't just say, "Yeah, we're done. We don't know what we're doing." It's got to be strategic. It's got to lead to growth and positive
Mhm.
change.
Well, if you loved this episode, would you share it with a friend or your business bestie? You can actually just copy the link that's right there in your podcast app, wherever you're listening, and just text it to someone or post it on your social media. That would really help us grow our following. And also, we just would be super flattered if you would share that. And it would mean so much to us.
And don't forget, sometimes stepping back and pushing pause is exactly what you need to do. It's not stepping down. You're just gearing up for a bigger leap, a bigger jump. And that's what we're doing here. And we can't wait for you to join us for what's next and for us to show you all the things. But being vulnerable and taking a hard look at what might be holding you back is brave for sure. And you know what? Brave looks good on you.
Bye, y'all.